Welcome back to the second segment of the Loveland Report and Loan Arranger Show. I am Cleve, Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate, alongside the Loan Arranger. I'm giving you updates on what rates have done. Has the bombs dropping, pounded rates since the submission, but no, the bombs weren't here. They were in Iran, everywhere. But Bruce is the man to talk to about getting the best rate you can whenever you need a mortgage or a refinance. All right, I'm going to dive into some listings, Bruce. These are really good. I think these are the houses. It's funny, these houses 6 years ago were 60% of this price. 534,000. This is a 4-3 with a pool in the
Nice.
the Palisades in Claremont. 2,700 square feet. Pretty much a custom home.
That's a big house.
Fresh paint, side entry garage, nice pool, 3-way split plan, high ceilings, all those things you'd expect in a house like this. I've got a house with a guest house for 450 in Conway. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. The main house is about 1,700 square feet. Out back, there's about a 500 square foot workshop, or it used to be a music studio for this gentleman when he grew up there. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, plus a 1-car garage for 450 on that. Tired of paying rent for your business? I've got an office condo in Metro West for 500,000. Each side is each side is 800 square feet. So you got 2 units, 1,600 square feet total. And that is in Metro West. It's very hard to find office space, Bruce, in that area. Metro West is kind of limited. And then you go over to Dr. Phillips, it's even where my office is at, there's hardly any. There's like maybe 4 or 5 buildings. It's very limited. So this is a great place to run your business out of. 1,600 square feet for 500,000. That's a bargain. Very versatile flex space, kitchen, break area, reception, all that. Or you could split it into 2 units and operate that. The Oaks in the Springs. This is, excuse me,
Those
Springs.
condos or townhomes?
These are townhomes, which is even better than condos.
Yep.
1,800 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. 20-foot. I love walking this. You walk into this room, Bruce, 20-foot ceilings in the living area. The windows, like glass doors at the bottom and windows above that, all the way up. Just beautiful. It's an end unit. So you're not looking at any of their houses.
Right.
Like literally out the side of the house, you're an end unit. So you got side windows, nothing there, just woods out the back. Woods, great.
Well, it's a gated community, right? It's
live guard,
lots
of amenities.
And you've got the springs there to use. I mean, it's like being in a resort.
It's like a little country club
community. It is.
And then Tuscaloosa for 550,000, 2,400 square feet, 4-2 with a pool. Everything's done. You walk in, big 3-sided fireplace, formal living, open floor plan, formal dining. Just a great property. 550,000 for that one. And give me a call if you want to take a look at any of these. 352-8118. That's 407-352-8118. And those people calling Bruce will have to wait to get their mortgage. So we'll be working all weekend. So
call the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. I want to talk a little bit about VA loans. Okay. So if you're a veteran out there, I may tell you things you already know. I may tell you things you don't know. First of all, on a purchase transaction, a veteran does not have to put any money down, provided they have full eligibility. Most veterans have to have served for at least 4 years to be eligible for VA home financing. So that is something you definitely want to make sure you have if you're a veteran. Now, I get veterans. I just had a phone call with one just a few minutes ago. She said, I didn't think veterans had to pay any closing costs. It is one of the biggest misnomers out there. VA, first of all, does not do mortgages. They insure mortgages. You will never talk to VA about getting a mortgage. You could talk to VA about maybe some general guidelines if you wanted to, but when you have somebody calls you and says, hey, I can help you save money, I can refinance your home, I'm with VA, they are lying immediately. And this is a major scam that I'm seeing going on right now for veterans that are looking to refinance. They think they're talking to VA. They're not. Don't be conned by it. It's all over the place. New Day, which is one of the big VA lenders, just got fined $2.25 million for deceptive practices. Now, folks, I'm telling you, you think the big guys are going to be on your side and you're safe? It's not always the case.
Like in their advertising saying, we're going to get you 5%. And then the client got to the closing table and
I don't know the specifics, but when somebody's fined for deceptive practices,
they've done a lot of it.
Their people are doing something they shouldn't do.
Yeah.
But the problem is that most of the mortgage business really cleaned up after 2010 because of all the reform, and it got better. But guess what? There's a lot of bad actors coming back, and some of them are the bigger players. Now, if you remember the whole breakdown with Countrywide and Merrill Lynch and all
Everything that
them
fell apart.
that
Yeah.
put us into a global bankruptcy, essentially,
Yeah.
those companies don't exist anymore. But it was big companies like them, like they were one of the biggest companies around. And don't ever mistake Countrywide for cross country mortgage. Not the same,
Yep.
never was the same. But they were literally lying to people, and they were lying to the investors that were buying the loans. Now, I don't know if there's any lying to investors about buying loans right now. I think they're smarter than that. But these companies are still no problem with lying to the consumer and making promises that they just can't get. And if you get a quote from a VA loan or any mortgage, it is lower than what everybody else is quoting you, there's probably a trick. There's some type, and no one should be soliciting you and you giving out your information. I had a veteran call me the other day, said, Bruce, I already started this application. This lender told me that I could keep my loan with Cross Country, and he worked for some bank out of Texas. And he totally was scamming these people and pulled their credit. I'm like, you don't even have to have your credit pulled on a VA refinance.
Wow.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And he's, no, they work for VA and I'm going to put it back through Cross Country and I can do this. They were lying to them right and left. I want you veterans to be cautious of this. If somebody solicits you for a mortgage, hang up. Matter of fact, you call my office and I'll add you to the opt-out list, or I'll send you the information to add you to it. Nobody should be calling you to solicit. If you want a mortgage, you call a mortgage company. You call me. You can call your bank. You can call your credit union. I think you should call me. I think I got better loans than they do.
Yep.
However, don't be solicited by anyone outside.
Yep.
Okay. 407-250-9144 for the loan arranger, or webringyouhome.com. So veterans on VA loans don't need a down payment. Okay. They don't need a down payment. And when they refinance, they can refinance, but they can only refinance every 241 days. Don't keep doing it. That's called churning.
Yeah.
That's another thing lenders are doing. But right now is a great opportunity for veterans. You can get an interest rate with a small buy down around 5.5%. That's about where they're going right now. 5.5 to 5.99 with a small buy down.
Yep.
It's doable. On a VA IRRRL, you don't have to come up with any money at closing. You can usually skip 1 to 2 payments.
Yep.
It's phenomenal.
You know what's coming out now, Bruce? I get a kick out of this. I think we've reached the bottom of the market and it's going to start. I know it's climbing. All the numbers look good. But here's one more article, probably the last one we'll see, on renting versus buying. Which one is better? Probably written by a renter. So it's just buying is always better, because if you don't have the money, they won't qualify. Bruce, if you say you got to have a $500,000 home and you don't make the money, you're not going to get that mortgage. No. And there's no way around that unless you got a rich relative. So you're lucky at the blackjack table. But it's just,
but you're not falsifying documents, and lenders aren't doing no income, no asset loans.
You can't do that. But buying itself is the first step in building your wealth, and not sending that 30 grand a year to the landlord, sending it into your pocket. Now, most of it when you start is interest, but it's yours. It is, and you own it, and you get to write that interest off on your tax return if you itemize. Yeah. The standard deduction is pretty high nowadays, but if you're buying up over 400, you're probably, with your property tax and everything, you're probably going to itemize, and it's going to help you.
Right now, we're expecting an appreciation rate of about 1.6% in this area. That's what I've heard. I don't know. It may be different from one community to another, but that's what I expect. But what do you see the average over a lifetime, over a 30-year mortgage? Where do you see appreciation generally lying?
Usually around 3.
Exactly. 3 to 5 is what you can expect to get. So when you're not appreciating at that rate, why would you want to buy? I'll tell you why. Because it's on sale.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
You want to buy. That's like saying, I want to buy stock, but I want to wait till it hits its high so I know I'm getting a good one. Don't do that. That's not what you want to do. Right now, you want to get in while appreciation is lower. You have more negotiating. Buyers have a little bit more control, but you're starting to lose it. You're losing control. I've been telling you this. As rates drop, you will not be able to get as good of a deal and get closing costs paid like you could have in the past. There's the phone ringing again. Got a lot of folks wanting to get mortgages today or help you find a house. So listen, don't Where did I was losing my track? My phone made me lose track of my own mind.
That's
here.
okay.
I
That's
tell
okay.
you, ADD is.
How much time we got? I don't have my clock over here.
We got 4.5 minutes
Oh, I
left.
see it now. Okay. All right. So no, I just think renting versus buying. There's no rich renters out there.
There is no
99.9% of the time, there's not rich renters unless you're 90 and going in, or 80 something and going into assisted living, whatever it might be. But I think a lot of people, millionaires are made in real estate. We talk about our leapfrog program, or
Yep.
your leapfrog program you developed, just coined it and put it on paper. And it's just buy a primary. A year or two later, as soon as you can afford it, buy another one.
So let's say you bought a $400,000 house. It goes up by 3%. That's $12,000, right?
Yep.
That's $12,000 in appreciation in 1 year.
Yep.
If you had a $3,000 a month payment, you actually only have a $2,000 a month payment
Net on paper.
Net
Yep.
on paper.
Yep.
And that's better than actually having the reduction. Here's why. It's unrealized gains.
Yeah.
How much taxes did you pay on the 12,000? Zero.
Zero. Yeah.
Zero.
Yep.
So you have unrealized gains. So those compound themselves at a faster rate than realized gains that you're paying taxes on.
Yep. No, I just think that's one of the simplest ways. And we got like almost 80 landlords, Bruce. And I've got some pros I got about 5 pros with more than 3 or 4 properties. And then I'd say all the other people, it's their primaries. It's homes that they had to take a job transfer, and they're like, all right, I'll just rent it. I'll make the money on it. And I take care of it for them. And they literally have 1 or 2 calls a year on everything. It is like a month.
What do you mean, like 1 or 2 calls a year?
I talk to them and say, hey, do you want to replace the dishwasher or Band-Aid it again?
Yep.
We were going to renew the lease. Do you want to raise the rent on them? I think I can get this much more, or do you want to put it back on the market? You're worth about this much. I help them with their plan. And what's funny is the people that I've literally had this conversation over the past couple of years, we've been slower. I had some people panicking about their rental property, and they were making a couple $100s a month. They were making some money, but they're saying they can't afford it. They saw the 50K equity they'd built over the past 4 years, and they panicked and said, we got to sell. We got to sell. I'm like, worst time to sell. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're like, oh, got to have it. Got to have the money. Yet they're on Facebook in Paris for 2 weeks. Things like that. It's just, now's the time to be buying. You will not.
It is. And listen, you look at that. Did this article say that it was better to rent? Is that what they said?
Oh, they're weighing all these options about costs and all these things
that.
Let's
just say that your costs are lower to rent. So what? If you paid $2,020, let's say you're paying $2,300 to rent, or you're paying $3,000 to own a home.
Yeah.
Okay. This is simple math, folks.
Yep.
You bought a $400,000 house. It goes up by 3%. That's 12 grand, right?
Yep.
So really it was cheaper to buy, because if your payment's $3,000 a month on the mortgage and only $2,300 in rent, but you're getting $1,000, then you're really only paying $2,000 in your payment.
It makes sense all the way around.
Yeah.
I also got some things after we go into this next break, Bruce. Call me if you need a plan, 407-352-8118. You need to know whether or not to rent out mom and dad's house. You look at those rooftops on your street. I have probably sold one of those homes, helped somebody buy it, or managed it for investment property, all the way from Titusville down to Cocoa, over to
everywhere,
Winter Haven, up to the Villages, up to Ocala.
You even had one in Haines City, I think.
I'm all over Polk County, over to about Lakeland. It's funny. I missed the station not being on FM, because we got a lot more great people.
We did.
calling.
We reached further when we were on FM.
Yep. I can help you with that. Call me 407-352-8118.
Yeah. Or call the Lone Ranger at 407-250-9144. Get your mortgage approved. We do not pull a hard credit pull when we get things started. We don't need a hard credit pull till you're either under contract or ready to lock your interest rate in. And I want to keep you safe. Don't let people pull hard credit pulls right now. The only time it's necessary that I pull a hard credit pull, if you have weak credit scores and I'm trying to get you approved on an FHA loan, but you will get permission. Don't let somebody pull it without your permission. No hard credit pull, no cancellation, no application fee. I'm a direct lender. I'm in all 50 states. I've got every mortgage you could possibly think of. Everything's done in-house. We don't send your credit report off to 15 other mortgage companies to shop your rate. Everything's done in-house. 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. We'll be back in 5.